If you want to succeed at your job and grow your career, you should always be a can-do employee. Of course, there is a limit to how much you can do and how much you can help, but your intent should always be to help as much as you can. The words, "I don't have time," should never slip through your lips. In fact, only when your managers believe that you're genuinely a can-do employee, they're okay to hear a no from you. Else, they might simply think you're just trying to escape when you say no, and they'll challenge you and push back. So, keeping that in mind, let's now look at how to say no without getting into trouble. First, understand the request and assess. You should not say no upfront unless you're absolutely sure. Or for that matter, you should not say even yes upfront. A lot of us make that mistake. Before we even hear out completely, we say no or we say yes. Saying no without hearing out and giving it a thought can be interpreted as you don't care or that your boss's problem is not your problem. And saying yes before you're sure you can deliver can make you end up in overcommitting. So instead, first size it up. Understand how important or urgent the request is. In other words, understand the priority and understand briefly the effort it needs and the time it demands, and then assess if you can take it up or not. Can you really do it and do it well? And do you have the bandwidth to accommodate it, and so on? Next, rationalize with confidence while you still care. If your assessment tells you that you cannot take up more load and you cannot reprioritize much, or maybe you don't have the authority to reprioritize your tasks, and you cannot delegate it to anyone on the team, and you're sure that you cannot stretch further because you're already stretching, then you obviously cannot say yes. Now, when you're ready to say no, start with a bit of enthusiasm while showing some empathy as well. Let your boss know that you're happy about the new opportunity and you wish you could take it up, or that you really wanted to help, but unfortunately you're so full, or that you're already stretching on your current activities to meet the timelines. And do that with confidence. If you're not confident, then you may be challenged and pushed back. But don't just act confident, but be confident. Be confident because you're 100% sure you cannot take it up, though you're willing to stretch, and you genuinely want to help, and you're open to hearing out any suggestions or ideas to solve the problem with your bandwidth. When you're genuine, you don't have to act. Your confidence comes naturally. So, do your homework first to be sure, and when you're sure, you always will be confident. Let me give you an example. Let's say my boss comes to me and says, "Hey Renu, we've got some good news, man. Our client has asked us to put together a proof of concept for upgrading their vendor refund process, and if they like it, then they would want to take it to the next step. So let's work on this one on a priority because they want to see it this coming Monday," something like that. Then, after understanding the request briefly, if my assessment tells that I can no way take it up, I would say something like, "Boss, I'm happy to take up this proof of concept design, but I have this final project delivery this Friday and we're stretching to make that happen at any cost. And on the top of that, I'm also working on Jim's presentation to the board that is due this Thursday. And I've also checked if I can move something in the back burner, but I cannot find anything that I can move until Thursday next week. But looks like this proof of concept cannot wait until then." If you've noticed, I conveyed that I cannot take it up at the outset, but I haven't used the word no. Now, I know that it may not be that simple every time. Let's say your boss pushes back and insists that you take up the assignment or the new project. Maybe he thinks you're the right person, or maybe there's no one else he can consider for this assignment. Then what you should do is seek help from your boss to reprioritize your various tasks. Discuss with your boss and let him know what you have in your plate, and ask him if he can help you reprioritize any of your low priority tasks or the assignments and put them on back burner, basically moving the timelines of those low priority items a bit further. In a way, you're putting the ball in your boss's court. It may be tricky for you to reprioritize your task all by yourself, or maybe you don't have the freedom or authority to do so, but your boss may be able to help you do that. So get his help and see if together you can reprioritize your to-do list and accommodate this new request. It's rare that a boss does not take a no for an answer and at the same time not ready to help you either. For instance, you can say something like, "Hey boss, do you think it's okay to talk to the North America sales and have the proposal move to next week? And I've got one more thing that I think we can ask for a couple more days of time." Or maybe you can say something like, "These are the things I'm working on and I feel these 3 items, we can put them on the back burner after giving the client a heads up. Do you see any issues with that?" Okay, now, what if your boss is adamant and still pushing back? Say if he is not okay to put any of your tasks in the back burner, if he says that everything in your plate is a high priority. That should ideally be a rare scenario, but sadly it's becoming more common these days. It's becoming common that someone's lack of planning or wrong decision in the top becomes your emergency. Anyways, in this case, you have to be honest and transparent about your limitations. It's important to be honest and transparent upfront than taking it on and failing, and in the end, everyone regrets. You should talk to your boss about what exactly your concern is. Your concern is fair. You know you'll not be able to do justice to all your assignments. The quality of your work on those assignments may have to be compromised when you rush. You may fail to deliver them on time, or the customers may be disappointed, and there can be unwarranted escalations to the higher management. You're basically saying no to setting up for mediocrity or failure, not really to your boss. Then you can confidently say something like, "Boss, I absolutely have no problem taking up more, and in fact I'm happy to, but I'm already stretching right now to fulfill what is in my plate. And I don't want to say yes or say that I can give it a shot just to avoid the difficult conversation with you. When I'm sure it's going to be an unrealistic commitment for me, I would want to tell it now than disappointing you later, especially when everything in my plate is a high priority. Otherwise, I'm always happy to help. And if you still insist, then I don't have a choice than saying yes. But I'm not sure if that is what you really want me to do." I perhaps made that one look easy, but you don't have to use my words ditto. Just be yourself, use your own style based on your boss's personality or your work culture. Be honest and transparent and convey what you think he needs to know. And don't talk about your personal problems unless it is really some kind of an emergency. That's about it on saying no. So arm yourself with these tips and let me know in the comments if you still have any questions. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and keep rocking.